Okay. All right. So I can drive, or if one of you guys want to drive, but the to-do here, and let me share my screen so we can introduce what we're doing here. Here we go. There was a comment to do. Replace this hack with zero width white space when we have rich text from BE. We have rich text from BE, but now we really don't know if we can do this or not, and we really don't know what's going on. So our options are we can just remove the comment, but this below line, which is doing something weird with some zero width space, is a little weird. Or we could do what the comment says, or we confirm that we don't need this anymore. And I think we're going to start with option 3 to try to confirm that we don't need this line anymore. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I was working on this yesterday, I started by I just removed this entire block, all of the v if, else if, else stuff, because that would kind of simulate having nothing. And I just never got to the point where GDK was like working in my favor.
Oh man.
so that is, I think, where we should start.
Okay. Hey, Amar, glad you're here. I'm also recording it for you. All right. So since I'm already sharing my screen, I'll go ahead and drive. But I probably will need you guys' help with making sure I'm doing all this right.
Yeah.
So I'm over here in Customers app, which is not where I need to be. And I also have a different branch checked out, which is not where I need to be either. So I'm going to check out master, and I'm going to no, what? I have it faux. For fetch origin, and then row. Oh, what? Okay. All right. Once everyone's looking, that's one thing. I got faux. Okay. And I need to set up my GDK. It's not running right now. So this is it, Amar. I get to show off my TeamOx, man. So this is my usual TeamOx setup. I have up here my GDK folder. I have down here my GitLab folder. And I have this helper bash function, which runs yarn install and bundle and all the other things to kind of reset whenever I check out a branch. I usually run this thing first, and then I start my GDK. And this thing also runs like the database migrations and other things. But right now, something tells me that it's removing temp cache, and that's taking some time. Oh, now it's running yarn install. So in just a little bit of time, we should be up and running. But see, we're getting like, we couldn't find modules because we haven't run bundle yet. Oh, come on, little yarn. Okay, now we're running bundle. Okay, what I usually do over here, since I've been planning on talking about this with Amar, I then run some notes over here. So I'll open up like some of them where I have my different notes that I'm working on if I'm like reviewing something. This is kind of how I manage to-dos personally. And I can resize this painting very nicely by pushing it over to the right, like 40. There we go. I've got a nice, happy amount of space here. All right. I don't need to answer that call right now.
Watch out, guys. He's flexing on us with TeamOx.
Yeah, I know. Okay. All right. This is run. Okay. No, Amar's asked me multiple times to record something about, and I have this, I don't have much configuration going on at all. So I'm going to just record getting started with TeamOx, because that's all I'm at, is just getting started. But it's totally changed my terminal life significantly. All right, now we're just waiting for GDK to do its thing. It might need a good old restart. Nope, it's doing its thing. Starting all the jobs.
I was stuck on connection refused yesterday for like 10 minutes. I don't know what happened, but
yeah, if you see like usually if you're stuck there for a while, I'll run GDK tail just to make sure that something's not hung up on an error.
Yeah.
I can't wait till this gets faster though. Oh, come on. I know you're there. Now it's thinking about it. Here we go. Now we're listening to the Unix socket. All right. Ah! Okay. So usually when I see this kind of thing, it's a restart the GDK. I could probably just restart Webpack, but I tend to overkill these kind of things. All right. So while this is going on, let's find that piece of code that we were looking at. Remove extraneous comment. Suggestion diff row. Suggestion diff row. Okay, great. So what I was going to do is I was going to create a suggestion that had some filled in lines, empty lines, and then filled in line. And we're going to see what happens in the middle there under different permutations of how we handle this. And if it's like we don't need this thing at all, then let's not use it. I tried to find, so Oswaldo was the first one he introduced this line, so he might have some context of why this was needed, and maybe it's not needed at all. It's under the commit fix test spec, so maybe there's just a test we need to fix, which would be interesting. So, all right, we've gotten to the workhorse part of this dance.
I actually have a theory about why it's there.
Okay.
But I don't know if this is the appropriate time to share it or not.
Well, I'm going to write over here my notes. Here's the carry theory. That's a pretty good one.
The carry theory is that the value of text can be nil or an otherwise empty string.
Okay.
And so...
Is this or rich text?
Well, no, I mean originally why it was put in there.
Okay.
Why non-breaking space is added there. So then, like, if you didn't have anything to display there, what would JavaScript do? Like, if the value of text, before we had the rich text option first, right? If text was nil, what would have happened? So I would imagine that line would just not be displayed and would be collapsed and cause a weird display snafu. And that's why that non-breaking space is there, is like kind of like strut open the HTML and hold that display space. So, and then the way the note is written, like, makes me think that, like, in the future we'll have rich text as our, like, and that will always have, like, at least a default fallback option that would hold this open.
But could rich text be empty string?
Yes.
Okay. And so
because of the way that we're doing it with the highlighter, the way that the highlighting code works is we take the text and we shove it into the highlighter, and the highlighter spits back out decorated content.
So for this line of code here, for all intents and purposes, if rich text or text are null or empty string, that's basically synonymous. So if text can be nil, or you say rich text can never be nil, but it could be an empty string, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it has to do with table collapsing stuff, which is why we needed to drop this in here rather than even just an empty space we could have done, but maybe that would cause some other weird looking issues. Mm-hmm. If this can be empty string, we still need to fall back to make sure there's always something here. Maybe. But I think you're getting really, really close. That sounds rational, but hey, let's all just hop on a call and dive into it together. You know?
Exactly.
If that is the case, then we can probably handle this when we load the data rather than in the UI. We could probably say if the data comes back as empty string or null, then fill it in with something. Yeah,
and that's a good idea. And I think that's an interesting question of where does this responsibility lie? And to me, this is a presentation concern because I wouldn't want it to be done in the back end, which might be what's suggested here in this comment, would be we're just going to drop this part in the back end. But I feel like back end serves more clients than just front end. And I'd rather have data purity there as much as we can until we get to the messy HTML front end land. All right, here I am. Let's drop a suggestion somewhere. I'm going to my Node.js Express project thing. I have looks like I have a merge request that updates something. Okay, cool. So we're saying I can drop, here's a suggestion. Oh, let me just hit my cool insert suggestion button. And so we're saying, let me drop some empty lines and then something else, right? Like this, I guess. Or maybe I'll make it go back a few. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and commit this, or not commit it, but I'm gonna comment this, and then let's dive into it and see what's going on.
I think those lines aren't actually empty though, because they have new line characters.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking earlier if it's ever possible to actually have an empty line.
Yeah, we might not.
I mean, sort of.
Let's see, this is line content. Okay, so this is, got it. This is, we're right here. So here is the content. That is a non-empty one. And here is one that is empty. Yep, here's where we have an empty span. So if I actually just remove this, let's see what happens. We might be able to it might be hot reloading things, but I don't 100% trust hot reloading, so I'm gonna just refresh it. Okay, there we go. Look at how
weird.
How thin and
the line is still there, but it's like not highlighted. That's weird.
Yeah, that is weird, and it kind of makes me wonder. All right. Yeah. Okay, let's re-add the span. Maybe there's a CSS solution to this, because maybe we're just not styling line content right. And that
is the highlighting applied to the span then, and not the div?
That's what I'm thinking. Or
all children's spans of these divs get the color.
I don't know. It probably has to do with some table weirdness. Well, let's see. So line content old, we're giving it this background color. We give it a display of block. It shouldn't need to have content. If I delete this, why in the world? Yeah, you see how you see it has no height. Because there's nothing in it, this cell. But that's really weird.
No width either.
It should borrow the height from it should have the same height as.
Can we just use the CSS content hack? Like make the content of an empty cell a space? Nope, apparently not. All right.
I don't know. I don't know. And maybe, well, yeah, I think you can only do that on, maybe you can only do that on pseudo selectors.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's correct. You're right.
Which would mean that how come this doesn't count? Like, how come that's not affecting the size of this thing? Something really weird is happening with this. But if we find, oh, here's a CSS solution to this, I have a strong feeling that line content has a lot of history behind it.
How long have we had suggestion divs? In the last year.
Yeah, it's been probably a little under a year, I'd say.
Okay. Well, so at the very least, we know this is entirely a front end problem um, with the way that suggestions are displayed.
Yeah. I wish I knew why. Oh, look at this. Okay.
Because it's okay, so it's changing the default cell display of a, because cells are not display block. They're like display
Oh,
table
that's
cell.
right.
Can you change it? Can you just change that block to display table cell? Because why do we need block?
Yep.
Now the question is, why do we need block?
I bet there's a, so we could because I know line content's got to be used all over the place, so we're not in ID, we're elsewhere. Yeah, I don't feel like changing this everywhere.
No, yeah, I don't either.
Especially because I know, where am I going? Okay. So I wonder if dtable cell is actually a thing, but it looks like it's not. Is there a Bootstrap utility class for a table cell?
Is there a block table cell to combine the two?
It looks like it's a thing. Yeah. It looks like it can be a thing. But why do we need it to be a block?
I don't know. It seems like that. It seems like it's there for a reason, right?
Well, but maybe it's there for a different context, and maybe I could just override it here. We don't need it to be a block at all.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Like you see, it seems to handle word wrapping nicely and things. Look at this. Look at how nice that is. Oh wait, I still have that. I still have that else. No wonder.
It's working perfectly.
I know. And so then what I guess I could do here is I could just have one span and then do something like, well, no, because one has to be HTML and one has to be actual text.
Right.
Okay. Is there ever a case where we need to worry about text anymore? Are we always going to get rich text?
That's a question that only Carrie can answer, probably.
The only time that you will get an utterly nil value for rich text is for the so-called meta lines.
Right.
That makes
Which are
sense.
not displayed anyway.
Right.
Okay. We'll leave that check there just for safety. But yeah, it looks like adding this utility class could be a solution to not needing to do any kind of weird hacky zero width stuff.
It's important. Table cell important. Gross.
Yeah, that's
Thanks, Bootstrap.
Yeah, I know I'm gonna try not to rant about Bootstrap utility classes. They're not the best utility classes, but you know, they're not the hero we need. They're the hero we deserve. I'm quoting Batman, but yes. All right. I guess this could be the fix, and unless someone can answer why dtable cell could be problematic in our case.
The only thing I think of is that there's an actual need for these things to be block, but
I mean, let's look at maybe some other places where we do. I can't think of one. I can't think of one. Why we would need it.
Is that display block coming from the line content class? Is that what's causing that?
Yeah, it was coming straight from. It was coming from code, line holder, line content.
Okay.
Let's see what happens if I drop in. This is code, right? Is this? There's code. Oh, but these are just spans. Oh, I wonder if line content isn't always used on a TD. Maybe sometimes it's used not on a TD. Let's see if we can see when it was introduced. Where is that?
It's such a generic-y kind of word anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Line content could be anything.
This is true. In line 499 of diff.css. 499. This was introduced 10 months ago. Restructure and deduplicate table.code style. Okay, let's compare with previous revision. Table.code is doing stuff. Back here, line content seems, oh, this is from 6 years ago.
Wow.
Deleted immediately.
So I wonder if it's because of, margin border padding stuff.
Because they definitely won't apply to, that doesn't apply to cells or anything inline.
Border doesn't, does padding can that apply to cell? Yeah, I guess so.
Padding and margin won't do anything if it's not block display.
Oh, but look at this. Look at this. When we do parallel, we actually have to overwrite this and make it a table cell. That's weird. Well, I would suggest moving forward with getting rid of that zero width space because it's hackier than doing this D table cell thing. I can't, and at least if we do it just on suggested changes, it's isolated to this.
Yeah, seems to be fairly minimal impact if it's
broken. We can do one of those good, those good old production tests and push it out so everyone to see it and then wait to see if there's any issues on it.
Yeah. Yeah, perfect.
Carrie is like, you front enders, is this how you test your stuff?
No, that's only half of what's going through my brain right now.
Oh, okay.
The other half is, we only push once a month. My God. Killing me. Cool.
So,
okay.
Carrie, do you want me to handle this? Or Paul, I guess you're already in the code.
I'll make this commit and I'll push it up. But if we could assign...
do you want to just tack it, Paul, do you want to just tack it onto that
yeah.
branch?
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to check
have
that.
This all collected.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I'm going to check that out, and I'll push up this commit on top of it. And we'll go from there. So I'm on master. I'll go ahead and commit to master.
Can I what's the word? Okay. I have a suggestion to add the display table cell only if the two conditions are not met. So we don't break a lot of things.
Yeah. So adding a conditional to the class application if there.
Yeah, that's a good idea because then it's
if no rich text and no text, then add detail cell.
Yeah. We don't break a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we know why? Like, we still don't know why we have it as D block in the first place, right?
Correct. We don't know why.
It could be related to IE 678.
Oh gosh! Oh man!
6 years ago, that would have been a concern, I suppose.
Okay, I'm gonna push this up, and then if Thomas, if you want to add that condition to what Amar was suggesting, would be helpful. But then maybe it's wise for us to do some cross-browser testing on it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's it. So this is fun. Let's make the commit and then we'll call it a day. Let me get the branch. That's the wrong one. Here we go. Oh man, this was 1,000 commits ago. All right, it's gonna complain if I try to just commit without doing this. So I'm saying, hey, remove ZWSP hack and for display table cell and such. I knew it was going to be upset about that. All right, I'm going to just have it sug. It looks like line content has display block by default, rather than changing this everywhere, let's just use Bootstrap util class. We don't know why line content has the played well. Okay. Here is the branch name. Oh man. All right, git cherry pick from my master. Oh no, what? Why are you upset? Oh, because we've removed that comments. Okay. Okay. Yes. So this thing should just be, did we actually, oh, I didn't save the changes. This happens to me all the time where I think I've resolved something, but I didn't save my conflict resolution. And then I end up committing the conflict thing. Okay, cool. All right, awesome. Hey, Amar, Thomas, Carrie, thanks so much. I learned something about line content today. And more importantly, I learned something about myself. Actually, I don't know if that's true.
The power of friendship.
This is true. I did learn something about the Lovecraftian universe. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. I will upload this recording. And Amar, thanks for hopping on last minute, too.
I'll hop in and add that exception to the memo.
Sweet. I will ping you on it. Thanks, Thomas.
Cool.
Bye.
See you guys later.
Cheers.